Care if I take this mask off?
No, I don't mind, sir.
Thanks.
Highest official law enforcement agencies in the world, and they find no collusion, and they keep on pushing the issue. The liberals are not going to drop the collusion issue with him. And Barr came out and said there was no collusion, but they're going to keep on going because if you lie long enough, as Goebbels said, if you tell a lie long enough and enough, people will believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what it is. And half these people, I guess they really don't know what's going on. I hate to say that, not like I do. Well, no, I don't mean it like that. I mean, I'm not perfect. And like I said, there's a lot to do just keeping the wolf from your door. And that you get figuring all the politics in it. That's why some of these people can't follow it for what it is. You know, because some things are better for you than others. I won't say the sky opening and stuff like that, but some things are better than others. And I just can't put it in words. I need a beer. That's what it is. Or smoke a tube. Yeah, you need to come back down there when we're out there on the streets.
Have you seen that guy out there with the Trump flag?
Yeah.
Oh man, they had a big old, like, almost support last week between 4 and 6. I saw all kinds of people live on Facebook, and I mean, you can see the Biden people over on near Family Video, and I think everybody else was at U.S. Bank. It's crazy. Lots of people. I'm surprised little Pickle had that.
Think it's dangerous at all?
No, shouldn't be. I mean,
For Trump supporters getting attacked by Biden people.
Yeah, so you've noticed that too. Why isn't the other, and you don't, you
Biden
don't see
people
it the
have
other way?
attacked more Trump people than the Trump people have attacked them. And it's true that most of the people that are Trump, they get all these charges and all this accused for just defending themselves. So everybody has a right to self-defense. You know, even when they were going to stone Jesus and throw him off the cliff, he caused clouds to form and he walked away. But we're not Jesus, so we have to take a more active approach. But it's usually Biden supporters attacking Trump's, and Antifa going to Trump rallies starting trouble.
which
Why
is
is
crazy
that?
because the Trump supporters are more likely to be the Second Amendment supporters.
Well, the Trump supporters are probably more well armed.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no doubt about that. They're definitely more well armed than the Democrats. But so, how did we come to this big chasm? How did it get this bad when we used to have, the Kennedy Democrats and the Reagan Republicans? What happened to them? Everybody's become so toxic. But I think that's a reflection of the toxic society, rap music and certain more unsavory elements.
I think one thing is because people have more free time now than what they did years and years ago.
It would be that, but then again, I guess that's a natural progression that it's supposed to be that way.
Yep.
The parents of millennials felt guilty about, what they didn't have, so they've sheltered and tried to overcompensate their children, which leads to weakness.
What's wrong with that, though? Them trying to give their kids a better life.
When you don't teach somebody to earn it.
Well,
then it's
that's
always
what they
expected.
said. They said earned respect over just given respect, and they said that's what they're doing. They're giving a lot of people respect for unearned. They haven't done nothing to earn it.
Yeah.
The riots, the police brutality, how does that affect you? That type of stuff.
Well, it affects me because white people are suspicious of me because they don't know my nature, but they see that I'm big and black. So that's worked for me as well as against me and stuff like that. But black males don't need to be out there fighting with police officers, even though they do treat them differently somewhat. I just saw a friend of mine, he's a lieutenant, and he said that, they would pay more attention to me than they would somebody else. But then again, that's due to the fact that all the history, and maybe a lot of the black theft and stuff was brought on by, I wouldn't say racism, but perceived, it's just so hard to, you can make money in America and they know that. So why are they doing all that stealing? You know, my cousin got, he was on television, we was watching, he got shot, and it was on Channel 7 News, and we were just sitting there, and all of a sudden, he said, that's Cousin Ricky. He got shot down in Dayton trying to rob a James B. Robinson. Got shot through his leg about 38, and he came and showed me where the bullet went through him. And we sitting there right on television watching him get cuffed up.
Wow.
My cousin Ricky, he was something else. But the police...
He asked for it.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I mean, you can't be out fighting with the police. But are they fighting with the police because they're being, see, that's what they say, because, see, the people, the white guilt has a lot to do with it, you know. It's these white people that feel, you know, that are these people being picked on because they're black, or they just commit more drugs and stuff like that. And there's, I don't know how to say this without pissing you guys off in a way, but is it all caused because of white racism? No, not their action and the behavior to some degree, but it might foment it. I don't know how I want to say it, but it's not the white people's fault. But they perceive it to be and try to turn it into what they need to do, you know, to turn it into what they need to do whatever they're going to do.
How many years has the media shown us that, you know, every time there's a major story on the news, it's not because there's black people out here doing, you know, organized community events, bettering things.
Yeah, well,
most of the time they're showing that, you know, they're committing a robbery or a murder. It's been painted in a negative
so
light.
why would they, well, see, then why would they're playing both sides to the middle?
Right. And especially in an area where the white people don't have a whole lot of experience with, you know, black folks, it's hard to make your own opinion when you don't.
Well, that's like I
get
said.
told that opinion.
White people that have married into black families see them as thinking differently, or they have a different perspective on life, and they do. That's what people got. You know, when God separated races, He said He did it to cause confusion. And why does everybody conveniently tap dance around that? Especially all these Christian believers. He said he split the races to cause confusion. And I don't care, you could take a pile of mud and water and let it sit out there for 1,000,000 years. Ain't nothing gonna crawl out of it. We got created. That's all there is to it, because I know it. The eye is too complicated to come from chance. Your eye is way too complicated to come from chance. So there are basics that you'd have to believe in to even understand or believe what Trump is doing, or anybody that you believe to be doing what is good. And I was almost an atheist once. I was thinking about becoming or close to it, but the eyeball brought me back. There's no way your eyeball could come from chance. There's no way. I could see it in your eyes. Just tell me God's there when I look in your eyes. I'm going to watch it. I see something in that cat's eyes. I just can't put my finger on it. But your eye did not come from chance. There's no way possible to do that complicated and to be that. It's not impossible, but the number's almost impossible. And some of the genetic fluid, some of the fluid in your spine, there's no way it could have come from chance. There is no way. It's too highly specialized. Even if, you know, because there are scientists that don't believe in God, that, you know, when they're looking at like the same particle reactor over there, the accelerator, they're looking for the God particle and all that stuff. But they're not going to find it, because see, that's where some of the order would have to come from that. The order they can't see. And the blacks might have been some cursed people in the Bible. They don't know that being black might be a curse.
Yeah, but they say Jesus was a color too, though.
Yeah, but he was all skin. But see, they said when that one woman got turned black, she didn't get turned black, she got turned white as snow. Yes. She got turned white as snow. They keep on saying she got turned black, but it wasn't. Because Aaron and Moses was arguing, Aaron was Moses' son, and they were arguing about him marrying I don't have it right, but arguing about him marrying that Ethiopian. God says, I'll teach you. The fog came down, and after it lifted, she turned white.
Being white leaves you more susceptible to sun poisoning, and you
Yeah,
can't.
so it was more a survival adaptation.
Yes.
Trump possesses comes from God. It would have to be, because they said nobody gets elected unless it be to his will.
Yeah.
So you think that does God, religion, does it weigh heavy on your political beliefs? I mean, yeah.
Yes. I think it weighs heavily on all Trump believers are more biblically oriented than the evil demon reprobate Biden supporters.
So you think Biden supporters are kind of evil, or you just joking?
No, they're evil, because we're all evil. For God says all have sinned and come short of the glory of the Lord. So the more you get away from God, the more evil you get. So I'd say they're farther away than a lot of people and things. As far as promoting homosexuality, violence, just all these things that aren't kosher. Let's put it this way, some things are better than others. I'm not going to say split the sky open wide, but some things are better, just like homosexuality. What does semen in a man's anus accomplish? Why would they want to, why would they want something so powerful? It's obvious that it's wrong. Homosexual mafia, you got the Muslims, the homosexual mafia, and the communists. That's our three biggest enemies. The homosexual. Hold a second.
Keep going. All right.
Trim that shit off my face.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Chris, but since I got you there, that's bugging me more than my hair.
All right.
Makes me look like some wolf dog.
You want to talk? Okay.
Okay, so keep going about Corona. Do you trust Fauci? Do you trust them?
No,
Is there a scam behind
their
this?
power.
Fauci and Gates.
They're power tripping over it because it's a way of controlling people. They can control through this virus. They can, and that's like you said when Trump said, you better watch your governors and stuff you put, this shutdown and stuff. The American can't take another shutdown.
Right.
There's no way we could take another shutdown. And yeah, it was overblown.
I think there's something else going on. I think they're pushing us to digital currency. I mean, look, we have the coin shortages. You can't get coins anywhere. They don't want us going in. They want us ordering from Walmart on our cell phones.
Well, remember what the Democrats said. They said never let a good, what is that?
Crisis.
Pandemic go to waste.
Never let a good crisis go to waste, yes.
Well, so
And then they're going to say money's dirty because how long? I mean, we've been told that forever. Money is the dirtiest thing out
Right.
there. So then,
well, that's why they're saying the coin shortage is happening because they can't
but
get
they
the
say-
money
they say-
cleaned at the
It
bank.
says, it doesn't say money is the root of all evil. It says for the love of money
Yes.
is the root of all evil.
But just like you were talking about the pallets of cash going to Iran, if
Mhm.
they switch us to a digital currency, what happens? Everything's traceable. I mean, if there's a digital signature on everything,
that's what scares me because then they can control what you buy, how much you can buy of.
yeah, they can shut your account off if you post the wrong thing on Twitter. I mean,
Whoever doesn't have the chips not going to be able
No
to buy,
man
sell, or trade.
strong, no man, rich, poor, or can buy, sell, or trade without the mark.
nope.
But yeah, they overblown the pandemic because that works against Trump.
Do you think that? You think it's politically driven?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt it's politically driven for all kinds of control and stuff like that. My friend, he was having this little chickie come over. Why he wouldn't let his girlfriend come over because he told her that the coronavirus was there, but he was having the other chick come over and keep the other one away with it. Down there at the library, they can keep the bums out of there now, you know. They like it, but then again, they don't. You know, people that like to go in there and sleep, so they're using it for all kinds of reasons, for control and to gain money and stuff like that. Because you can eat down at the White House Cafe, but they won't let them Chinese buffets open up or something about, well, the way they serve the food. But after the 1912 flu pandemic, which was one of the worst ever, the recovery back to normalcy wasn't even as long as I think it is now. I'm not sure that I know that for a fact, but the 1912 Spanish flu wiped out more than any. Oh God, it killed millions of people.
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you think Trump's handled this whole situation?
I think it's been fair, but the Chinese lying about it, and who knows where a virus goes, how long it stays, and what it goes. So after we get done wearing masks and all this stuff's over, the virus is just going to say, "Oh, we're leaving."
Nope.
Yeah.
The virus.
Yeah.
Doesn't go anywhere.
The virus is going to say, "Oh, we're leaving now. They're all done being excited, ruining their economy, ruining their lives and stuff. Let's go."
I like how the left says he didn't do enough when he shut down travel from other countries while he was being called xenophobic by Biden.
And Nancy Pelosi was up there in Chinatown
Yeah.
telling them to come down, and Nancy Pelosi sneaking to her thing, and that's what he said, you choose wisely over who you pick, because he said a lot of these people are just power tripping on you, you know? As far as the family goes, I don't have much of a family, but the family, you know, the family unit, the white family unit, because everybody says, well, you can't say white and this and that, you know, the differentiations of it, but they talk about the black male uneducated voter, the white male uneducated voter, so they put all these other stipulations in it, but as far as the family goes, the white families, they're doing well, they love each other in ways that blacks don't. And where you've taken this, they understand that, because I know if you've been to Japan and stuff like that, you know they don't, I won't say they don't hate blacks, but they'll tell them the truth.
I would say that's one of the positive things that come out of the coronavirus was everybody kind of took a time out. I was, wasn't working all the time. I was able to spend time with my kids. Money sucked. I didn't have any income for 8 weeks, but it was kind of like taking the time out and maybe that's
Forced us back into the home to spend
Well, yeah,
more time.
yeah. The coronavirus did did cause unit cohesion to some degree.
Sure.
Yeah, it brought people back closer to, and plus everybody started thinking, slow down. So it did have a good effect to some degree upon the people as far as slowing down and realizing that money isn't everything and spending time with your family is.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it says when you go to die, it says, only thing's going to matter is your good memories. Nothing else. You ain't gonna be thinking bad. You're gonna think about, man, damn, I did this, did that. I don't know. I'll be blank, man. I'll be flying in. I don't know, man. Let's shoot me out with a shit gun. What are you doing there, son?
Getting this off your lip real quick.
I think it's probably been hardest on the kids, though. I got that 6-year-old, and she was in kindergarten, her first year of school, and she had to leave 3 months early. And now she doesn't want to go back because she doesn't like wearing masks. And,
Sure.
She's like, Dad, when's this going to be over? When can I play with my friends again?
Yeah, I think trust is involved in there too.
Exactly.
Trust is huge.
I keep trying to set
Trust
up
is
like
a very
play
hard
dates with
thing.
parents.
Well, it's in God's hands, and if he wins or if he loses, they're going to fight.
Yep.
And so that's what's a bad thing. And I think if he wins, there's going to be civil war. There will be civil war. I'm pretty sure. I must lay
Either way, there's going to be. I think either way.
Yeah, they're not going to stop fighting until. And are they still rioting in these cities?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they are. They're still rioting.
They're still burning.
So that shows you Biden and what they had effect, because that lady, that Klobuchar or whatever, she wasn't going to do anything till they got like a couple blocks away from her. Remember that one? And then she called the cops once they got close.
One of the mayors and one of the governors.
That hair's slick.
Whoa. Thanks.
I can't imagine living in Portland or something.
Yeah, we're so lucky we live in small town America.
Glad the shop zones and all that stuff's gone, but man,
Oh, thanks, man. I know it looked a whole lot better.
probably feel better too. I know I always feel better to get some of that hair off me.
Yeah, he didn't take it all. Yeah, I can't, man. I can eat some of that wolf fuzz to keep me warm. Wolf fuzz. And that's what's really scary about this election is the civil war that's going to come. And if it doesn't go to a civil war, it's going to go right up to about it or over it. Well, I could say in some places it is a civil war, but over this man. But what is it about Trump? What is it about Trump? Is it that he wants to do everything right, or is it
He can't do anything right in their eyes.
his gnarly his attitude that they can't stand?
Now, how would the Civil War, man? What's that gonna look like? Like, how is, like before there was the North and the South. What's that gonna be like?
It could be, well, let's put it this way. It's gonna get, if he gets elected,
Well, we have a one right now. We don't-
if it gets elected, he's gonna stomp it out. Martial law. He has, why not go to martial law? He has nothing to lose in his second term. And
Right.
I think it's gonna get stomped out.
So he's just gonna bring in the National Guard and kick ass, or what?
Yeah, it'd probably have to be, for the agenda to go through, for him to not to waste time, to help build the economy and bring prosperity to more Americans, that he's going to have to quash it right away. There ain't going to be no waiting around to do it and stuff like that, because with the programs that he wants to enact, and not to mention where he's going to have to enact it, is in the big cities where all the shooting and the killing and stuff's going on, where that's where he's going to have to work the most.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason why he shouldn't. And we're a nation of laws, just like they point out Biden. I fired him. I told him he's not getting the money, and I fired him. We're a nation of laws, and that's all there is to it. And we've got to remain a nation of laws to remain what we are, because the liberal left, who claims they're so for that, you let a bunch of black people get out in front of their house with guns and stuff like that. Because a friend of mine said, well, if that would have been some black guys that got out with guns, the lefties, if you were white and you were a Republican or a lefty, you're still going to call cops, see a bunch of spooks get out with guns. It doesn't matter, because he was trying to make out like the Republicans would be different towards them, or not much different towards them, but they might be, being Second Amendment type people. But who knows? It's all up in the air. It's just so sad that we thought we was past this. Remember the 60s and the 70s and all that stuff we went through, and we were headed in a new direction? But it seems like black culture, did a boomerang in there some way for some reason. And it was the liberal left doing it.
Tearing down statues.
Well, yeah,
Like you said, you can't erase history.
Yeah, man, yeah. Hey, you can tear down all them statues you want. You think those white people are going to forget about that? No, they're not, man. It's just going to make, and why not tear down some statues of black people, man? Did they talk about taking any black statues down?
They were trying to take down Abraham Lincoln. I mean, that right there says.
Oh, he didn't exactly dig spooks either, man. He didn't exactly dig spooks.
Celebrated as the liberator.
Yeah, he was the liberator, but he did it for financial reasons,
Yes,
more
exactly.
so than he'd give a crap about a spook. But then again, the British, when they first went to Africa, they were afraid to go back because they were afraid they would turn black.
Really?
Yes, that is a fact.
Crazy.
And another thing, they when they flew the first airplanes out there, because they're trying to figure out about airplanes and stuff like that. When they flew those first airplanes out to the island, they came back a couple months, and the people had trimmed their bushes to look like airplanes. Because remember how they are right now, we can only relate to it, but we got to think outside the box, because, we see fusion and all this stuff that we know how to do, that our problems will be solved. Let's put this, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say. The problem are right. The solutions are right in front of our face if we can only grasp. You know.
And what do you think some of the solutions are?
Well, it's fairness and honesty to other people, which Trump is more fair, honest, and decent than other people, because you met some people you can trust and some people you don't. And like I said, trust is a hard thing.
Mm-hmm.
Trust is a hard thing. It's hard to gain and easy to lose. And so the American people have put their trust in Donald Trump, and so far, when you drive down the road and you look at everything that's for him, you know, and then even the Democrats are even the die of the wolves are afraid of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, because Ilya Oman, Nancy Pelosi, and those other people, they really want to run the country because they know they're going to get over there and they're going to mow over old Joe. He won't even be able to handle it, because once they get that woman up there, but they said once rumored that the Antichrist was a woman. And see, that's like I'm talking about certain groups of people. You never think of a woman actually being in there to help foment the end of this country or something, but they could. Because I want to make a movie about some black guys out, you know, smoking crack, screwing white women, and drive around going crazy like they do. And they go into a missile silo base, and they get in there somehow, and they fire off a nuclear missile.
Wow.
Yeah, man. You got to. Man, I tell you, are you going to be back over here?
Is there homeless in Piqua?
Yeah, there's a cast of characters, man. But they kind of scattered here lately. They kind of diffused. But there's still some around here. And like when you see me together with like 4 or 5 of those guys, we're having so many days. Stop, okay? Stop, because you'll really get. Well, let's put it this way. You might not be able to use anything, but you'll get it, man.
I get it.
You'll get some good. Oh God.
So do you have a place you stay, or what do you do?
I walk around all night, and I sit over in this guy's porch. And my sister was talking about, I heard you live with Deborah, made me so damn mad. She said, oh, I heard you living behind Shell. Person. I never said perfect.
No one's perfect.
And why they can't see it for what it is. If he brought up the money, if he puts money in the black people's pocket, how can he be a racist? You would want to have nothing. You'd want him to starve. You wouldn't want him to eat. You wouldn't want him to do nothing. How can he be a racist? And how did he get branded such a weirdo?
He used to be celebrated in rap songs.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
wanted to live the
Yeah,
golden
yeah, you
lifestyle
remember, yeah.
of Trump.
He was always seen with he's Jackson, what's that one dude? Al Sharpton and all them people, man, and Mike Tyson and all those guys used to chum around and body with him and stuff like that. You'd see him doing interviews and stuff with him.
Mm-hmm.
Then, well, I guess he went far. Well, he wasn't really defined as a right, you know, even though he had Republican values and stuff like that. For that, to make that money, he wasn't really defined as a Republican. But once he stepped over that line and said, I am running as a Republican, man, that was it.
It's like
They said,
putting a target on.
yes, they said that had to be. So, Republican bad, Democrat good.
Yeah.
And I don't know, from his upbringing, how much money did he get off his dad? $1 million or like
He got the
10
equivalent.
million?
He got the equivalent at that time of $1 million loan.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And so whatever he screwed up or got, he got audited. What do they call that when you filed bankruptcy 2 or 3 times?
Yeah.
But they said it was corporate for his business more so than in his personal life. But that's another thing that gets me about Trump, man. They talk about, well, he ain't got the money he says he does. He's not a billionaire. I know he's got more money than you, and I know he could sit around a lot longer than you. That's what I told this one person. He said, why do you worry about that man's money? You got to go out and get yours. So what the heck's the big deal? Because they said, well, he ain't got the money they say. He said he does. So what does that matter to you?
You can skew statistics any way you want. If you own real estate, if you have a portfolio with $4 billion, it may not be liquid. And, you know, like they were saying in the town hall, he's got 400 million leveraged. Well, if he's got 4 billion in property value and 400 million in loans, what's that? 10% of your net worth is.
Yeah, he
Or-
could pay it off. He could pay it off, but then
Right.
again, they said once you get that rich, the best thing to do is to
Stay leveraged.
or give it away or leverage. Yeah,
Yeah.
leverage. I don't understand, but leverage, it keeps the taxes and your income.
It helps you with tax write-offs
Yeah.
for depreciation, and if you have the money leveraged, you're using somebody else's
That's
money
something that
to
people-
invest and make
That's
more.
something kids need to be taught from day one. You know,
Absolutely.
instead of like 1 penny plus 2 equal 2, they need to be talking about interest, loan. Military, as far as the military goes in Trump, a lot of these people wouldn't understand, you know, being an arms expert, but that the Russians have recently redid all their mobile ICBMs. Do you know that the first strike really matters, but the second strike matters? But they say it's hard to figure out with an atomic war, but the Russians have just mobilized all their mobile ICBMs, all the really bigger ones, you know, the SS-24, SS-26, SS-27, and I think the SS-28. I know they have those numbers right, but they just mobilized all their ICBMs because we know where all the ones are that we can hit, okay? But once you move them, they're unhittable, and not to mention a counter strike. Is that what you need? Because the first strike, it'll pretty much do them in. But you want the second strike to really, like I said, once they reestablish their water supplies and stuff like that, we would hit everything that they would try to rebuild because they would be down a little bit, understanding strategy that we'd want to hit them again. And that's the Russians have remobilized, and the only people that they could have done that for is against us. And they're as far as their airplanes, cruise missiles, and stuff like that, they're ramping it all up. And it can only be for one person, one country, us. So if Putin and those guys are such good friends, and not to mention, what about Trump stopping the oil gas line? That the big gas line, there's a big thing over there. They want to put a big gas line into Germany, and he forestalls some of the money on some of the equipment or something like that, and stalled it. So they're doing all these things, not to mention, what about our land Aegis system that we just put in Romania and Poland? That's where we're moving our Standard missiles, our intercepted anti-ballistic missiles closer. And the thing about hitting a ballistic missile, you want to get as close as you can, because the easiest time to hit a ballistic missile is when it's taking off, not post P and stuff like that. Once it gets up about there, it's moving at Mach 6 or something like that. And when it's coming down, it's moving at like Mach 10 or something like that. But the easiest place to hit it is when it's taking off. Not that these missiles would have that capability. Russians, and they signed in they signed another pact with the Chinese aggression pact that all designed against the United States. So if they're doing all this, how can he be a stooge of Putin when they are planning to cook our ass? And I mean, believe me, they did it with the SS-18, man. It carries 40 megaton devices. Do you have any? That is kilotons. And so the Russians are designing to fry us, man. And not to mention, they're beaming waves. They're doing all kinds of stuff to this country.
And what about China? You think China was behind this, or?
Oh, China. Yeah, China was definitely behind the virus. But here's a weird thing that they did. They said that there was a U.S. military. Now, I might have my wires crossed. I might have been drunk. I might have been whatever. They said that the United States military had a biological warfare study plant or factory in Wuhan, China, or something that was kind of along with that.
Yeah, we gave 5. I don't know if it was billion or 5 million during Obama. That was a big thing that came out.
They went in there. Yeah, then not to mention when they designed the AIDS virus, George Stockwell, the ex-CIA director, said that these because they know that some things. They said these two. It said bovine leukemia and Visna were spliced, and they said this could not occur in nature. And they said that the Russians and the Chinese and the Americans were working on it in Langley, Virginia, and they came out and told the dude, said, we got a virus that can't be stopped. So with all this collusion that was there anyways before that, and I wouldn't say collusion, but they work with people because, see, the thing about China and Russia, these people are talking about blowing them away and stuff like that. They ain't gonna blow the Russians away, man. You go there, they would smoke this place, man. And people got all these stupid ideas about out of these things that the Russians are designed. they're programmed to destroy America. They've been working on it. They've been subtly doing it. So how can they be in bed? It just blows me away.
Yeah.
Well, see, they can't destabilize us right now because we're not ready. See, they don't know how to exactly deal with us. They like the money and stuff, the consumerism, but they want to get us dummied down and punch drunk. That's what they want to do because they said, like I said, you know, like if Biden takes over, you know, third world country, you know, whatever, little black shanties here, you know, little white hostels here and stuff like that. As long as they can keep us together because they don't want us exactly to go away because of the money, you know, the consumerism, you know, they make a lot of money. They want us dumb and punch drunk. But it come a time when they might have to go. But if we do fight a war, an atomic war, the Strategic Studies Group said it'd be the Chinese. If we fight an atomic war, if anybody, it'd be the Chinese before it would be the Russians or anything like that. But since the Russians have a pact with them, if we attack the Chinese, we also attack the Russians. Which they just, it's just crazy how the Russians have ramped up all these weapons, and there's only one group of people they could possibly use them against. That's us. All those long-range nuclear missiles, because they can take care of Europe with all those short-range and intermediate nuclear missiles. So all those long-range missiles, those big ones, are for us. And they say, how can we get in? Or China or something like that. You think they're just going to take big clouds of radiation coming across the border, killing their people and stuff like that? No, they're not. So a nuclear war and the collapse of our collapse of our economy from the debt, I think, are out of it. But like I said, even though Trump's making the economy good, look how long the $20 bill lasts. It's like paper, it's gone. So there's all kinds of things that are happening, but we'll have to reset because Jubilee, the Bible talks about Jubilee, and it's relief of debt every 50 years. Because it's like we said with money and stuff like it. It comes down to being free and letting things go. Because that's what it's all about, forgiveness. Without forgiveness, we would have nothing. It says you can't, it says in the Bible, and I have faith, and I've got bigger faith than anybody, but do I have the faith that I should or something like that? No, I don't. But it says, genealogy and history profits little. You're not going back in time and change anything, you know, and you're not changing who you are. So there's some things, it's all about forgiveness. You got to go on and forget about the past. And a lot of people haven't forgot about the past as far as race relationships in America and a lot of other things. Because the perfection that Black Lives Matter wants, we cannot deliver to the white people. So what makes you think they're going to deliver it to us? And not to mention, the whites have been rather gracious because they could have wound us up and killed us. You know, the Russians have killed whole races of people. And so the Chinese, they wiped out the Hmong people up in those mountains of Vietnam. They killed those people. The white Russians and Russians, stuff like that, they killed tens of thousands of them. So the Chinese and the Russians, they would say, hell, your black asses, man. We'll liberate you at the end of the bullet. You know, we'll set your ass free. Shit, yeah. And then people don't know this. They don't know their history, you know. And that's part of the problem why they don't understand Trump. And what's really happened in this country. But just like I said, they talk about all those old white suckers being old rednecks and stuff like that. They were. But this place would not be like it is to all the Democrats and liberals if it wasn't for some of the stuff they did. You wouldn't be living the way you did. So they don't need to credit anybody that's white that's talking about another white leader needs to be shot.
What do you think about reverse racism?
Where's hey, Cracker? What are you talking about? Nah, Cracker, man, shit. You whiteys got it sealed. You guys are the devil. You know that's like what's his name said. Who was that? Oh, no, he's TJ.
Oh,
Louis Farrakhan, yeah. He said the farther north the white man went, the eviler he got. Damn crackers, but it's just that Biden's not good for this country. It's just simply obvious. He's not good for this country. Why are these people so dumb? I don't want to see them as enemies, but I do because they see me as an enemy. Because they're wondering when they hear me talk to them, They're like, it is what it is. You know, I've been treated very good by a lot of white people. I've been treated better by white people than I have blacks, to be honest with you.
And do you get looked at funny by other black people though? Because
What I mean,
you're
I've had them
alright.
told that cardiologist down there said, you act white. And this one guy told me, oh, the way you act around them white people. There were 1,500 people in my class. There were only 7 black people. A couple of them mud ducks, ugly. One of them was an Uncle Tom, and there was only four girls. And what the hell was I supposed to do? Be a weirdo oddball, which I was anyways, you know. I never dated nobody or never went to proms or anything like that. But it's so sad that, like I said, George Washington, to the best of my knowledge, I know you guys will check it out, but he did not want to name Republican or Democrats. He didn't want two names. So he said, because you guys will be like little kids in here fighting. And he said it's going to be that way anyways. I got to go, dude. But hey, you got to come back to Piqua for Street Smarts Part 2.